Hey Vibe Tribe, this is Jess Venus with Life Force Energy. I'm very excited because I've been wanting to channel and share with everyone what has been given to me through visions, through my sessions, and just as I've been channeling. So I've been waiting when Divine said, okay, you can get online and you can start sharing. So for those of you that have been talking with me, I've been giving you guys an energy update, but today is the official energy update of what is happening. First and foremost, what's real? What's surreal right now? My goodness, it's been really difficult with all the planetary changes and shifts. Like, what the shift is happening? It's a lot that's been happening. So a lot of you have been feeling a bit foggy, confused, out of body, out of touch, a little out of balance. Let me explain what's going on in the energies today. So now we already have gone through, and it's still happening. We are aware of the conjunction, which is the coexistence between Jupiter and Neptune. Now this had taken place on April 12th, and we're already, I think today is April 13th. Forgive me, I'm just channeling as I'm going. So these two planets, Jupiter and Neptune, are now connected in the sign of Pisces. What does that mean? That's where I said the surreal aspect. Oh my gosh, a lot is happening. If you're familiar with Pisces zodiac is the mystical sign. It's the psychic one. It's the one that connects to other timelines. It's the one that quantum jumps. It is the one that is it's very comfortable spiritual evolution. Now, this is a crazy cosmic event. Why is everyone talking about this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction in Pisces? Well, because that's not going to happen again to another over 160 something years. So it's very important that it's happening. It's a huge cosmic event. And it's been a first time connection since 1856. And this next conjunction will happen in the year 2188. What? I know. So let me kind of give you a little bit of rundown of what you've been possibly experiencing through your awakening. So Pisces is very magnified and a very mystical, intuitive zodiac sign. Now, these planets are currently in connection into the Pisces energy. And so what we're experiencing is an abundance of a magical connection of surreal moments. You may be experiencing that you are present in this plane, but you may have noticed that those vivid dream recalls, you think they're dreams, you're actually maybe currently at the time vibrating in another dimension. I know I said it. And so it's a very master-like energy. And so what's happening to those of you that are very in tuned and very sensitive to your clair senses, you are all are on steroids right now. You're like, what is happening to me? Why do I see so much? Why am I feeling so much? Is it real? Where is this coming from? Well, this is the reason why. It's because of all these planets that are in connection, and having the Pisces influence involved as well is going to do this to each and every one of you. And so what we're being called in this time, in this cosmic event, is to wake up your intuitive senses. In other words, all the times that you've been trying to pretend that you're not that magical and you don't have all these abilities, it's not serving you anymore. You can't hide anymore about it. You've been trying to run away from who you are and your power, and you're getting cracked open. A lot of you have been getting cracked open. What do I mean by that? Is that it's as though the version of you is splitting in multiple versions. You may even feel that there is versions of you that are communicating to you from your higher self. If you're tapping into meditation, you're tapping into channeling, you're a healer, you're connected to source, in other words, you're going to be experiencing some very clear visions. And it may feel as though, if you're not familiar, if you're like, am I awake? Am I asleep? That's the surreal part. So what's happening is that we're all getting stimulated, each and every one of us. No one can run away from it. We've all tried to hide. It's not working. And it's the reason is that you've got to be that change in the world that you were meant to be. So we are being cracked open. Everything about us is just completely coming to face for us. The good, the parts of us that we want to work on. And the reason why is that light has to be shining in our darkness so that we can see the areas that we've been running away from, that we've been shying away from, or that we've just kind of put it onto to the side and been procrastinating about it. Not the case anymore, especially for what's coming up this month. April is super amazing. So yes, we always have our full moons, our new moons, which we have a full moon coming up, I believe, on April 16th as well. But what I want to talk about is, why is this Pisces Neptune energy influencing you? So many of you are going through such emotional waves. Pisces is a water sign. So whether you have Pisces in your planetary chart or you do not, one way or another, you're going to be experiencing these emotions and fluidity, and almost like if you're like an ocean that is crashing. You may have had moments already just arising just recently with all of that is happening, because remember that we are mostly water. So what is happening outside of the planet is literally altering the being that you are, your physical essence, and it's also contributing to your metaphysical balances and imbalances. So many of you have been telling me, oh my gosh, Jess, I've been super emotional. I've been purging. A lot of childhood things have been coming up, things with my parents. Listen, this is a time of healing. You gotta, the matriarchal to the patriarchal lineages are being addressed. No one is getting away from it unscathed. We're all having to go back to the source of our ancestors and our lineage, the areas that we try to avoid, the parts of us that we tried to pretend wasn't there. It cannot stay settled underground anymore. Everything is coming up to surface. So in other words, secrets, behaviors, patterns, addictions, issues that have been in your family is totally coming up to surface so that you can become that change for your family. Listen, my beautiful Vibe Tribe, your ancestors have been praying for you. They've been doing their own internal work for you right now to make these changes, because this is the time of change. We are leaving so many different densities of different multi-dimensions that you almost feel like you've gone through a death, and that's because you are. What I say by that death is that old version of yourself that can no longer live or coexist in this timeline as you are moving up in vibration and changing your perspective, your behaviors, your patterns, just your internal and external environments are completely shifting right now. This is very exciting and can be exhausting. I'm exhilarated, yet fatigued, and I'm sure a lot of you have been feeling that. So a lot of you are going to be realizing that you have to come to an awareness. You must purge. Your intuition is heightening. You're becoming more sensitive. You're also realizing the good, bad, and the indifferent. Whatever you've been speaking to yourself, whatever you've been projecting outwards is materializing in your plane. Please be mindful. Stay in a plane of holding your manifestations, even though it doesn't look like it at the moment. Trust me, I understand. I go through it too. You got to hold that energy and trust that it all is going to fall into its perfect place. Can't force certain things. You can't push certain things. There's a time for a pause and there's a time for full throttle. And so each of you will be going through your own version, because some of you have been kind of hesitant. So you're going to be like, almost feel like a slingshot projection of you have to move forward. And a lot of you have been feeling that and super startled by it. And I completely understand. Fly with it. It's like when you're in the ocean and the beach, you could either try to go against the wave or you can go ahead and allow the wave to take you. I allow the wave to take me. And this is the time that you want that ocean, because right now we're in this water energy and it is very intense. So either you go with it and be fluid, or you're going to feel like you're drowning. And I don't want you to feel that way. So what you are materializing currently, what you're working on and how you're focusing on your soul's mission is going to be appearing in your timeline. What do I mean by that? It could be people that you've been meeting in your sleep state, projects that you're meant to do, things that are going to pull you out of your comfort zone is rising to occasion so that you can move on and move upwards. There's no more of this linear path. It's like everyone must move upwards, and we're all feeling it. It's a bit uncomfortable. Now take those aspirations off the dusty shelf. This is from Source, okay? And I was like, oh my gosh, I have a lot that I wrote down. And Source says, you must let everyone know they must take those aspirations off the dusty shelf and get into alignment with your with your true calling. If not, you're going to experience some kind of depression. You may even experience some depleting of your life force energy, which is the solar plexus, which animates all living things, that life force, right? That life force is your personal power. It is how you materialize. It's your self-esteem. It's what you are manifesting into your reality. So if you've noticed that you've been kind of down, that may be an indicator that you are going against what you're supposed to do. So be aware and pay attention. Here's the other thing that Spirit was telling me. The shadow is being illuminated. So all the little quirks and funk that you've been trying to avoid within yourself, you can't hide it anymore. In fact, people are like pointing it out. How rude. Look at your own. Thank you very much. But they may even point it out and say to you, well, you know, so-and-so, you got this, and this, and that. And I had said on April 1st on that moon energy report, be careful, people. Don't be so quick to be pointing fingers and casting the stone. Start looking at your own self and take care of yourself and inspire your people around you. Don't criticize them. Don't judge them. We all have a pace that we're all comfortable with. And trust me, if it isn't ourselves that are pushing us, divine source and all the magnetic forces that are in this planet and outside the planet influencing us to move forward. So you will have parts of yourself that are going to be exposed. It's going to feel uncomfortable. You may even get embarrassed. I say lean into it. Here's an example. I know everyone's been talking about the Grammy Awards and Will Smith slapping Chris Rock and all that. Listen, something there triggered. I've talked to my clientele about the fight and flight mode. You're familiar. If you've been coming to me, you understand what I'm talking about. We are humans living in this world, doing the very best that we can. And sometimes we use that fight and flight mode is to save our mindset and to handle the emotions in a manner that doesn't break us down. So, for example, Will Smith, he went into fight mode. We all saw it because there's something deeper and greater there. So poor Will, man, he has all his stuff out there. Everyone's seeing, everyone's criticizing, but they don't even look at their own crap. You know, who are us? You know, and Chris does not deserve that either. So I'm not justifying. What I'm saying is that nothing can be hidden. If there's internal issues and external imbalances, they're going to be brought out to the forefront, not only for you to see, maybe your friends, family, professionally, or the whole world to see. Oh my goodness. May everyone give each other grace because we're all on the same path of growth and development, and we're all doing the best that we can. So what I wanted to say is this is a cycle in your life to know who you truly are. Yes, the parts of us that we are still working on, the parts of us that we are inspired to create a better version of ourselves, and the parts of us, like, we need to give ourselves a pat on the back, like to be aware of our achievements and our goals and to know our value and to rejoice in what we've already been able to accomplish and what we're currently working on. So it's got to be a twofer. It's not all this bad stuff. It's got to be really acknowledging and know thyself. This is the time to release the suppressed energies and emotional blockages. Hence why I mentioned Will Smith, Chris Rock. And you know what? I'm going to just talk about my Colorado news locally. There's a lot of people that are super upset, shooting all over the place. I mean, people are on this huge emotional roller coaster. They can barely deal by even staying in their own body, that people are escaping. And Pisces kind of does that sort of thing. Pisces also has where it's that escapism. So a lot of us may go into escapism with different types of vices that we may like, or we may actually be even escaping out of this reality and tuning into other dimensions because we may not like what we're feeling here. So a part of our versions of ourselves, remember there's cell structures in your body that recalls all the variations of life cycles that you already have existed in. So your cerebellum carries all the experiences, whether it's in this timeline or other timelines that you've existed. Now, here's the interesting part that I wanted to share. A lot of you may even been noticing the blockages and certain aspects of yourself. Maybe there's a mood swings or reactions that wasn't that favorable for you or towards others. It's because that version of you is still needing some kind of love, attention, nurturing, purging, awareness, identifying it. So That's going to be happening to all of us. Nobody, no celebrity, no where people think, oh, no one cares about me. It doesn't matter. We're all being placed in this no more filter. Like we are all being exposed, because how are we going to transcend if we're trying to take all of our junk with us? It's too much of a baggage and weight to carry. So we're not going to be doing that any longer. Talking about what's the surreal part. Well, as I was sharing about Pisces and the Neptune energy, and then we got Jupiter. Oh my gosh. Well, first and foremost, let me talk about Neptune. Neptune is the planet of illusions. It's the one that creates all the connection to the higher self and to your cosmic beings of light, to your guides, to the other versions of you that exist in other timelines. Did you hear that? So Neptune is the awakener of your clairsenses. So even if you try to deny it, you're like, I don't have it. And you're like, but this crazy feeling, this gut feeling, or this knowing, which is your claircognizance, is sparking some kind of like, pay attention. It's because Neptune is here. Neptune's going, wake up. It is no longer time to be dormant or silent or quiet or pretend nothing is happening. It is the awakener of your clairsenses. It will heighten your awareness and unlock hidden knowledge in this timeline and other dimensions. You're a multidimensional being. You think that you only exist here in 2022 on planet Earth right now? There are versions of you that also coexist. And you may have even noticed, whether it's in your dreams or you may be in an alpha beta state in your brainwave. You may just be doing whatever it is, and all of a sudden you're having these emotions and reactions in your body, and you may be feeling sense like if you've been pulled, and that you are vibrating somewhere else, and you feel a little off, and maybe like you're trailing and everything seems a little blurred. Your reality doesn't look crystal clear. It looks a little off. It can be based upon how crystalline you are and what work you've been doing internally. You may be currently, with the way things have been torn apart here for us to coexist, you may be having versions of yourself in this existence and other existences at the same time. Jupiter, the planet, oh my gosh, it is that extra energy. It's that ancient Jupiter planet that's so expansive and it projects you forward. So that's where I was saying, it's like, as much as you want to try to hold back, you just can't anymore. Now, also Jupiter goes in and it looks for your fears. Whatever that could be. It could be money, relationships, your business, family, your health, whatever it is that you've been dealing with and worrying. That energy of the Jupiter is going to come in and it's going to make you face it. You're going to have to face your fears. You've got to release them, because carrying this mindset or ideas or emotions that you are not worthy is a lie. That is a lie from the wounded child. That is a lie of what the society told the wounded child so that you as an adult think is your truth. And that is not the case. So the wounded child keeps showing up, and it has been for the past, I would say at least past 2 years, but it is getting stronger in 2022. So a lot of inner child wounds must be addressed. And so Jupiter is going to make it very clear. So if there was any kind of traumas, any kind of where you were suppressing certain memories or connections with others from your childhood, it may show up. It may have already started for you. And the reason why is because Jupiter wants you to see you must stand up and speak up for yourself. Those boundaries must be laid before you. Because if not, the universe is going to keep sending the same situation through different people, maybe different background, but it's the same lesson. So this planet is creating breakthroughs for you. Now, what it's doing is that it's going to break you out of the stagnant persona that you've been so accustomed with. And that part of you not loving or believing yourself, that too must go away. So you may have noticed that you've been drawn more to self-care, to self-healing, reading books, maybe not taking certain phone calls at certain hours of the day. It may also be you saying, I'm not going to go to an event. You may be using the word no. And I had talked about it last year around, I think it was almost going towards winter, that I said no is going to be a new word for a lot of you. And I've been exercising it too. And at first I felt kind of bad, but when I said no and I was honest about why my no was there, you don't have to. Sometimes I would give my no and give my reason. And sometimes I would just say no. Oh my gosh, lifting the weight off my shoulders. My goodness, I've been so liberated because of it. And that's what's going to happen to all of you. You're going to have to learn to say no. No, you can't mistreat me. No, I'm not going to be forced to do something that I don't want to do. And no, I'm not going to take your attacks and criticism any longer. And I've been noticing the collective's been saying no. So good for each of you. Here's the other thing too, with Jupiter coming in. Oh, and I've been talking about this for the past few videos. Whatever does not belong, it is like being pulled out of your hand. It's being stripped away. That means whatever that persona, that attitude that you have, or the reaction state that you've had, it's going to blow up in your face. It ain't going to work. So it's like we're all having to unlearn old behaviors and patterns and learn new versions of how to speak up, how to project ourselves in a manner that we know our value and that we are letting others know, this is how I want to be treated. You don't have to do it, but this is what I'm going to do. And if you don't, I'm cutting you out. So that's a big part that we're also still learning. It's a big lesson for everyone this year. What is happening? Why are these shifts going on? Why do we feel so surreal? Hello, we've got a solar eclipse coming up in the sign of Taurus. I'm a Taurus. So all of you Tauruses and Pisces, you may have been going through some major life changes. And if you have the Taurus and Pisces in your placements in your natal chart, well, there you go. That's that big growth spurt and spiritual evolution and transformation that's necessary. So April 30th, we're going to have our solar eclipse, Taurus sign, ruler Venus. Ooh, let me bring you some good news, yo. For those of you who are like, oh man, I've really been working on my body, trying to take care of my fitness and cleaning up my lifestyle. Ooh, Venus is going to inspire you all. You're probably already feeling it. Venus is all about love and beauty, sexuality, her sensuality. She's a warrior. She's all about agriculture. She's all about being very grounded. She's about money and prosperity. So this is a really good thing. Now, that solar eclipse energy, we can feel it up to 1 month before it fully turns on. And guess what? That solar eclipse energy stays with us after the date of April 30th up to 6 months. This is an intense year, everybody. And I've been saying that because people are like, well, it's all these planetary stuff. This has not been happening in like ages. So the fact that we are alive and witnessing all this happening, it's very powerful, and you're very blessed and fortunate. You were meant to be here to witness and to testify to all these shifts. What's happening is, why are we going through all this? We got the solar eclipse coming in. Now, Venus is exalted. So you're going to feel very exalted towards the end of the month. That means you're going to feel yourself, okay? You're going to want to take care of you. And those of you that are not in a relationship yet, oh, honeys, put yourself out there. I don't care if you got to start going to events, you start joining some kind of dating apps. Put yourself out there like now, because Venus energy is going to amplify that romance, that harmony, that beauty, that sensuality. Ooh, that means for everybody on this planet. So if you have been waiting or you want to connect to others, I'm going to say the best time to start putting out your connectors and your fillers is like literally the last week of April, because Venus is going to come in and boom, she's going to amplify and exalt all this amazing energy that Venus brings into play. Now, she's going to bring in also those who are currently in a relationship. If it's not serving you, you may be looking at your partner and be like, why am I with you? Why am I here with you? Why am I wasting my time with you? And that's not going to be a bad thing. It's just that Venus will come in and show you that maybe that partner used to work, but that partner is not coinciding with you. And because we're all doing this, we're moving up. If that partner is going to drag you down, guess what? Remember Jupiter. And it's going to pull it out by the roots and get it out. So don't be surprised if there's going to be breakups this summer, spring, or this year, because it's you making way for the correct partner that is going to serve you vibrationally so that you both can exalt each other and move upwards together. So good news. I mean, it looks as though those that you need to unify with must come through. So that's what's going to happen there. Here's some other information that Spirit had told me. Oh my gosh, have you been noticing on my Life Force page and my personal page, I've been always sharing with you the articles about the solar flares. People are like, what's going on? We had the beautiful aurora lights. That was in Aurora in Colorado, which is not a common thing, but it was there. And then we also have the weather has been insane across the globe. Well, why is this happening? It is literally the planet's new power is being exalted, and we're going through a spiritual evolution. Coronal mass injections are happening to planet Earth. A lot of you feel it if you're clairsentient or geomantic empath like me. We've had a lot of pressures in the frontal lobe and in both sides of the brain. You may even have felt the pressures in the upper torso at the shoulder width as well. Reason being is that these coronal mass injections, and if you notice everything, the coronavirus, the coronal mass injections, and if you're familiar with the Latin word corona, that means your crown. It is for intelligence and awakening and awareness to increase. So you may be feeling a little funky. You may be getting rashes. You may not want to eat. You may have noticed that you're not interested in certain types of partaking of whatever it may be. You may be noticing you're just shifting. It's time. It's actually a very positive influence and change happening. Divine keeps telling me about electromagnetic energy. My friends, if you're working on projects, please back it up. Back it up for your own sanity, okay? Back it up because this is what's happening as you're familiar with Mercury retrogrades. Anytime that our plane is being disrupted by other electromagnetic connectors and connections, we're going to start seeing that we're not going to have a very good clear connection, whether it's through our internet, it could be through any other forum, because when these frequencies hit and slam into our planet, it does disrupt the grids. It will disrupt the satellites. It is common. It's like a big energy pulse, exalted and moving throughout your environment. So you may be noticing that your connections are going to be disrupted as we get closer to the solar eclipse, that we may start noticing that. And I had shared that last year when I had seen it, and like, I think it was the next day or 2 days later, Facebook, social media, and other places started to shut down. They were being some way intercepted. So I'm seeing that again. That has not, that's not showing me any improvement actually. I am also getting that there's going to be a lot of cyber attacks, because what's happening is when these coronal mass injections come in and hit our grids and hit our satellites, there's like little opening and pockets for others to break the code and to enter. So keep that in mind. Be careful if you can. I mean, hackers can get in even through your protective software. So just keep that in mind and be careful with your identity as well. We're going to be going through power outages. Divine did want me to remind you guys, if you haven't done so already, here is the warning again. Get your house in order. Get your food prepared. Learn, go to community groups, go to your nursery, start getting some seeds. That's going to be like your new gold, okay? Our foods, unfortunately, because of what's been going on in the environment and all this fear and anger and disparity, this depressive emotional energies have entered our field and has affected our food. You may have noticed that your food is rotting a lot quicker. Your food may already be rotten, or you may have opened up that avocado and it was rotten and there's not even a pit. It's pretty amazing about what's happening to the agriculture, which is Venus is coming in, like I said, in April 30th for that solar eclipse. So with that being said, Venus will talk to us about wanting to be driven about providing our own resources of food. So I have the Tower Gardens. I went to my local nursery. I purchased seeds. I'm growing my basic stuff like my onions, my garlic, my herbs. I've got lettuces. I'm picking up berries, and I'm growing them all inside my house through my Tower Garden, which is a hydroponic system that has the solar lights to feed my plants. And I'm working all the time, so it's on a timer, making my life way easier. And then I have my potted plants, which is my soil, and you can purchase these what look like a ring light, but it is for your plants to be fed, and you literally just clip it onto your pot. So if you're not familiar, I will post in this video where you can connect and you can order it yourself. It is very intuitive because it does the work for you. You just got to plant the seeds into the blocks, and it gives you all that information on how to do that. And then I send you informational links as well to support you in that. But I do want to say that it is very important. Start dehydrating your food, start learning how to can it, start learning how to preserve. You want to have food. Our food is going to go through some weird decrease. You may have already been noticing that the inflation is happening because remember, Jupiter is an expansive planet. So our prices are raising and everything, whether you're buying crystals or if you're trying to get your fuel for your tank just to get to the darn grocery store, inflation's happening because that Jupiter energy is going to expand everything, even our prices. Now, what I'm also noticing is that I do see a lot of scarcity. I don't like that. I'm a woman of abundance. I do have that Venus energy, and I'm very extra, and I have no problem with that at all. But I do have a problem when I start seeing how do we get to it when there's not enough supply for everyone, which is why I'm saying you want to learn about how to create your own food resources. Now, there's so many things that you could use to learn about getting your proteins. Gotta say something else because this is not me at any way trying to be critical at all. But I am also getting that our animal protein is also being contaminated because of the poisons in the environment. So those of you that have been noticing, you've been getting more upset stomachs, parasite issues, nausea, vomiting, almost feels like a food poison. Some of you may have noticed that certain, and that's not all animal product, but unfortunately there are really good, there's a lower value and quality of animal byproduct, and then there's really good one. Honeys, spend the extra, your body's worth it. And you know what? If you want your animal byproduct, get it, but make sure that it's like organic and that it's treated in a different way. You know, I totally understand why things have to be kosher because now I understand everything has a vibration. So what you're consuming is altering your vibration. So whether it's plant-based or animal byproduct, please keep that in mind. Why I love growing my own food is that I know what I'm putting into it. Nothing, just the minerals, the water, and the solar light. That's it. No pesticides. I don't have to worry about any poisons. I don't have to worry about any cross-contaminations. I don't have to worry about any of that. And my stuff is growing organically. So keep that in mind. I don't care if you do animal or plant. I want you to think about your body. Your body deserves a better quality of life. And the only way that it can happen is if you invest into yourself to make it happen. I also wanted to share in regards to, as we're dealing with the solar eclipses, we are doing with the coronal mass injections. Have you noticed that the veil isn't there? A lot of you may, here's a story that I'm going to share that happened to me during a session. And I was doing an elite duel with Helena, and what was so interesting is when I was working with this client and opening the Zeal chakra, 5 cosmic beings came through. We had a Pleiadian, 2 Arcturians, I believe it was 2 Vegas and 1 Orion. And then they showed a pinnacle and they were in their space. Then what happened was 3 versions of me showed up. One, she was amazing. She was alpha and she was very eloquent, very firm. The other 2 came from other timelines, which is my version of me. And I loved what they said, which is myself. They said, we came through because when we were in meditation, which is what I do here on this timeline, when we were in meditation, we had all connected stating that we were going to meet you at this very moment because I had a download to change my cellular structure, my DNA, to assist me for what's happening in the environment. I understand now why. So what happened was the alpha higher self was letting me know what versions of me must go away. And I've been working on it since January. I don't know if you guys can see it. There is a difference in my energy field and just in my physical body. I've been doing whatever I was told to do. And the other 2 versions of me were explaining about how that they come through in my sleep state and that I actually connect inside of them. So I become like a walk-in takeover inside of my versions of me in different dimensions so that I can live in coexistence and do the work that I do. So no wonder when I wake up from my sleep that I don't feel fully rested. I am still coexisting in other timelines. Then my alpha version of my higher self, she comes through and she is very firm, well eloquent. And of course, me in this version on this plane, I'm a little mouthy and I got a lot of questions. So I was given information that a lot of you souls are currently living in multiple dimensions. So say, for example, you may be 25% here and maybe you're in 2 other dimensions and it's divvied up. So you may have noticed that you kind of feel like you're out of sorts, or you feel kind of foggy, or you may not even remember a conversation or some kind of things that you did during the week. You're like, I don't really remember that. Or if I saw that show, I don't remember anything from it. Because what's happening is that versions of you are existing at the same time because realities are shifting. Again, you're a multi-dimensional being. You know, when I work with your archetypes, you have all these different personas coexisting in this body right now. Okay, well, it's like that in the other dimensions as well. You are living multiple lives. Not all of you. Some of you may have, and you may have noticed, and if you have, please comment down below and say, I am a multi-dimensional being. I get it. Because I can't go into too much, but I believe that those that are going to watch this will feel very validated and at ease knowing that you're not crazy. You are coexisting in multiple dimensions. And why is that happening? Here's what the alpha higher self told me. We are in training right now. So you are learning how to quantum jump. You're in this growth in leaps and bounds. You are no longer to be hidden or to be shunned or to keep your voice down. No more. Every one of us, me included, we must be visible and be seen. You must be heard. So project your voice and be seen. You can't hide anymore. Don't do this anymore. I don't want anyone to see me because it ain't going to work. Jupiter is here to expand you and make you to be seen and to be noticed. And so if you have been doing it, I'm going to tell you, I've been writing in my journal. What do you recall when you wake up? Maybe it's people that you were working with, someone that you talked to. Like one of my friends, I reached out to him, I think it was yesterday, because I had a vision of him and I walking, and we were like where a beach would be, and that would make sense because that's where he's currently at. And of course, I love the beach, so I must have just astral traveled and started communicating with his higher self, and his higher self was wanting to purge what he was burdened with, and that my higher self version wanted to hold space for him and let him know that he's loved and that he's supported, and when he's ready to move forward, I'm here to support him. And so I'm working not only in this energetic timeline, but when I go to sleep, I'm working in other timelines. I'm still being a healer. I'm still being a medium. I am still doing my great and mighty work in other timelines. And so are you. Now, have you noticed in your space that you may be seeing more orbs, more energies, or something in your peripheral? The reason being is that, again, there are multiple existences happening, coinciding at the same time. As we have this powerful conjunction of Neptune and Jupiter, that big cosmic event is creating those openings for you to connect to yourself. So what I would suggest to those who are very comfortable and heightened in their abilities, go into meditation and connect to your higher selves. Higher selves. There are multiple versions of you, which what makes you so unique and makes you stand out from the rest. So these are the things that are happening right now. A lot of you may be experiencing some pressures in the body. You may have also noticed that you're not eating as often. You don't have to. We've been talking about this for about a year now, that a lot of us, in my videos, I talked about it, and talking to the Vibe Tribe and at events and other speaking projects that I've had, I've been sharing about how the crystalline body is such a beautiful high vibrational frequency right now that Because our food is not at the level that we can consume to serve us, unless you are supplementing, which you really should supplement, because our food's nutrients are a little off. They're not at its peak unless you're growing your own, because at least you can control the environment and what you're putting into your food so that you can put it back into your body. Remember, everybody, your health is your wealth. You can have all the money in the world, but if your physical body is breaking, who's going to save you? So please invest into your health, into your body, into your environment. Number one, because the way things are happening and shifting on this planet, if you haven't seen already with this pandemic, your immunity is your gold. It is your lifeline. So keep it healthy and strong. Make sure you're getting all the nutrients you need. Get the supplements in your body. The reason why you need the supplements is that we are under such drastic energy vibrations that they're kind of pulling us apart. And you may feel very defragmented. You probably are. You may actually be having parts of your soul fragments out of place, and your hologram may be out of your body because of what is coming into the planet. So you got to get yourself back into being centered, and you got to get back to being grounded. And a lot of you are not connecting out in nature because you're too busy gallivanting everywhere else. Well, Mother Gaia came up in my reading today and said, tell everyone to get out into nature, because then divine messages can come through when there isn't all this pollution and all this distraction and noise. I can communicate to you directly. Oh, I was like, that's amazing. And then Mother Gaia also wanted me to tell those of you that may not get to go out into nature, place some crystals, place some plants in your workspace and in your home, because the frequencies are so dense that you need those plants to take and absorb it and send out that good carbon, send out that good oxygen out into your environment, so that your physical body and your metaphysical field is more restructured to vibrating at a higher level and not falling away. So you may have noticed that. So get your crystals, clean up those crystals, everybody, shine them up, grid your bed, grid the corners of your bedroom, put them out in your space, clean them up. They're not just there to look pretty. They actually have metaphysical properties to serve you and your space. So use them. Get your plants, put them around you. We're in spring. Oh my gosh. When you went to the I went to the nursery with Helena the other day. We were able to see that there was different types of plants. You can go ahead, find there all kinds of ranges. Like you're looking for like $2 up to $20. And if you got at least $10, grab yourself some cute little pots of plants and put them around you, because you got to raise that vibration in your environment so that you can see and think clearly and get the guidance that you need. But those are the things that Spirit has been wanting me to tell you, because what's happening, a lot of you are existing in multiple dimensions and you're feeling very defragmented. You may be so, and you probably are right. So how do you get your body to come back? It's not going to come back as easily right now, because the way things are being pulled apart, you're going to just kind of have to learn to sit in this month right now. So I wish I could tell you we can put you guys back in, but you may expand right back out because of where you're traveling to. And that's part of your soul's mission. And that's your soul's walkabout. The journey that you have contracted yourself to do is to experience and to also to learn. So these are the things that I've been wanting to share with you. Please share with me. Have you been noticing that you feel that you're pulled in different planes besides this one? How are you handling that? Have you noticed your appetite has changed? How about habits and behaviors? Have you been altering those as well, or you feel very inspired to do so? Go with it. Do it. It's your time. This is it. You're going to be highly supported and inspired to move forward. So these are things that I would love to hear from all of you. This is today's energy report. Thank you everyone for watching. If any of these things resonate with you, I'd love to hear from you as well. And thank you to my Vibe Tribe that has been writing me, sending me text messages, and giving me this information that you all have been experiencing. There's nothing wrong with you. You are going through a beautiful spiritual evolution and deep transformational healing. So we got to get cracked open. We got to get uncomfortable. And we're going to sit in this for quite a while this year. And it's really just to get us inspired to do something different than what we've been doing before. Because those things that we've been trying, and I'm noticing it for me, like I've got to go back. I'm going back to the drawing table. They're showing me that I got to restructure the business for 2023. I'm creating some awesome videos and workshops because knowledge is power, people, and you must learn. So I am working on my few days off next week to really get everything going. And summer solstice, everyone jump in on that summer solstice. I'm about to put a lot of amazing energy in that and give you some powerful tools. They're already on their way in shipment. So I'm very excited to get those prepared for you. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at our Facebook page and see what we got going on. And we got some awesome I See You happy hour events. People, you want to connect with other people. Remember what I said in the beginning of this year, the 2022 predictions. It's about unity and having wonderful connections with people. And they don't even have to be down the street. You can have even greater solid foundations with people across the world. So if you want to join me, all you got to do is go to my events on the Facebook page, say that you're interested, and then that way I can include you in that Zoom invitation and join us. We're just going to hang out and talk about what's going on. I always bring up news. I share what's going on. Other people share what they've been experiencing. It's really an awesome opportunity for you to meet other people like you. Thank you everyone for watching. Wishing you all love, insight, and healing. Take care.